This is my 1991 Cadillac Allante convertible, and it is the cheapest running Cadillac Allante for sale in the USA. I bought this car for $1,200 off of Craigslist, and in true Doug DeMuro fashion, I'm going to go all over its quirks and features, and then just like Tyler Hoover, I'm going to show you everything that's wrong with this car, and believe me, there's a lot. This Cadillac Allante was one of 21,000 built from its short lifespan of 1987 to 1993. And in 1991, they only made 2,500 of these cars, making it somewhat of a rare bird. And for good reason. The body was built in Italy by Italian car design firm Pininfarina. And adjusted for inflation, this car cost $107,000 when it was new. And I bought it for $1,200. Now I'm going to take you all around the car and show you all of its issues that are making me get rid of it. Now, Allante convertibles in particular, the convertible motors weren't great. And so, as you can see on my specific Allante, the motors failed on this one, and they failed pretty hard. Now, the previous owner decided that it would be a good idea to duct tape the back of it down. If you look inside, he's rammed towels inside of there to keep the water out, but you'll see later that it's not working. It's still a little wet in there. But as you can see on this Allante, the half the Cadillac logo is missing, which is a bummer, but not enough for me to care to, fix it. But lots of cracks here. Lots of cracks in this taillight. But again, it has not been well taken care of. Obviously, the previous owner didn't care enough to actually fix the convertible top rather than just putting the duct tape on it. So now the Cadillac Allante came with a power radio antenna. However, mine doesn't work. You can put it up and down yourself, but the catch is when you turn on the radio, it's trying to put it up. So the motor's always going. So, not to mention the radio doesn't work, but I'll get to that later when we get into the interior. We have our massive Cadillac wheels, but above that you can see the only spot of rust on the entire car. Now, granted, for being an Ohio car, it's not bad, but you would think that whoever paid for this in 1991 paid $107,000 for it. Now, if you paid $107,000 for a car, I would think that you would want to, take care of it, not drive it in the snow, but it's Ohio. You can't avoid that. Down here we can see our lovely Pininfarina badge displaying your Italian luxury that came with your $100,000 Cadillac Allante in 1991. But in 1991, this person put in a car phone. The car phone will come to later, but you can put up the antenna and have your car phone antenna sticking up on your windshield while you're driving down the highway, but this thing isn't going on the highway anytime soon. Now, it's a common thing for these headlight washer fluid dispensers to crack and break on these Allantes, but surprisingly, they're both in good condition on this car. But if we look down here, I can stick my fingers inside of the bottom lip to the front of the car, so this thing's probably been over a few curbs in its life, but as far as the front of the car goes, that's the only issue right there. I mean, if you're just looking at it head on just like that, it looks like a fine car. If you didn't look at the back of it, everything would be fine. It would be a fine Cadillac convertible, but it's not. A lot of people, their dream car is to have a Lamborghini or a Bugatti Veyron or something expensive and fast. Since I was 6 years old, I've wanted a Cadillac Allante. I think they are gorgeous cars, and to be 16 years old and to be able to afford to buy one, it's incredible, especially since the average price on these is anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000, and the fact that I'm a 16-year-old and I'm working a $8 an hour job and I'm able to afford this car, it's incredible. I think it's gorgeous. I mean, the red line that goes along the side of the car, and it's stunning. How could anyone not adore this car? And I will want one later in life, but this one's not for me. Now, when you think Cadillac, you might think North Star, but this does not have the North Star in it. Rather, it has its predecessor, which is prone to all the same problems. This 4.5-liter V8 was part of the Cadillac HT 4100 series, with HT standing for high technology. This particular motor is the LW2 with multi-port fuel injection, producing a massive 200 horsepower. It has a 4-speed hydromatic transmission and 270 foot-pounds of torque. The 0 to 60 is a crazy fast 7.9 seconds. And you can see by the windshield wipers all the lovely leaves that have accumulated over its sitting with its prior owner. Now to the fuel door operation. There's an electronic release that is underneath the armrest. It's a button, and for some reason you have to hit it about 500 times for it to actually release. Here. There we go. And then it opens right up. It says use premium unleaded fuel, and I did put a fuel tank of 93 in there, and it was not fun to say the least. Now to the interior of the car, and it kind of shines on the interior. I mean, kinda. Let's take a look at the door first. As you can see, we've got screws holding in that part, but also that's a common thing for those parts of these Allantes to break. Now, one of my favorite parts about the car is watch the door unlock and lock function. It's unlocked now. I think that's pretty cool. Now, the power windows, neither of them works. Both burn out. I've had to guide them up multiple times. But also, it has seat memory, which is common now, but back then it wasn't. You can see right here, you can set it for the first driver or the second driver. Now, that would be great if any of the power seat functions worked on the driver's side. On the passenger side they do, but not over here. We've got our manual mirror adjustments, and they are power mirrors, and they do work. That's something that does work. Now, on to one of my favorite parts of the car, the interior. And there are many things in this interior that I absolutely adore. One of which is the door chime. When the door is open and you stick the key in, it's an actual bell. There is a bell in the dashboard ringing, and you can hear it clanking around up there. It's absolutely incredible. Now, something else that I am in love with about this car is the sound of the turn signals. Now, I'm going to put on the hazards, and I want you to hear them. Isn't that amazing? I love it. And now, when I turn the key to accessory, one of my favorite parts about this car, and I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I feel like I'm piloting a shuttlecraft, is this. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. You've got a digital tachometer, a digital speedometer, digital. Looking at this entire cluster, you feel like you are in something so high-tech. And in 1991, this is what you got. All of the controls are in this line aimed towards you. And you've got buttons. Let me count how many buttons are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. Which is actually pretty cool. Let me get to that part now. You can change it from English to metric whenever you want. So notice how it's displaying 85,000 miles right now. You hit metric, it shows you have 138,000 kilometers. You can change it back anytime you want. Now, here is your electronic climate control, which doesn't work, shockingly. You've got colder, warmer, automatic, economy, all of your standard things, but digital in 1991. Now down here is the driver information center, which tells me everything that's wrong with this car. The day I bought it, it literally sent, I think, every single message that was able to come through there. You can control, reset. You see, there's actually so many things that it won't, it's a mess. It'll show you, you can have a time, you can have average speed, you can have economy. You can see that I'm getting 12.2 miles per gallon. Average speed's been 20, which factors in stops. You've got range left. You can see I got 138 miles to empty, how much fuel I've used since I've set it, and I can hit reset and it'll put it back. Now, the stereo is a big disappointment. It doesn't work at all. When I got the car, I would turn it on and nothing would happen. I'm thinking maybe a fuse blew. I'll have to check it out, but right now, nothing works. The CD player, nothing works. Apparently there's a CD inside there. It's giving me an error, and it doesn't work either. Now, if you look down here, you've got the gorgeous little Pininfarina logo hiding in there, so you can see it every day on your way to work. Now, over here, Mr. Regular commented on something about this, like in the SVX. You have two different defroster vents, one for this window and one for this little, and I think that's the attention to detail that you're paying for the $107,000 car. Now, granted, it failed a lot of other places, but there it's shown. You have your lights here, which work half the time, but they're there. You have your wiper controls, and if you noticed, they retract back down into the hood when you start using them. I'll do that again. When you turn them on, first they come out, and then they go. And then when you turn them off, and there they go. They go back into the shell. Here we have our Cellular One car phone, which is the antenna we saw up there earlier. And across here, you've got the Allante. Fancy schmancy. Now, I think that's locked or broken. Maybe I broke it, but I think it's locked. I think I locked it. Now, in here, you have your trunk control, which I don't think works, and then your fuel door, which you have to hit about 16 times for it to work, and I've already shown you that. It starts just fine, but when you drive it, that's when it doesn't shine. You can see here, you can stick your hands outside the car, which is contributing to a lot of the leaking you see down here. We've got some growth happening, and it's a little loud back there when you're driving down going 70. It's kind of horrible. Now, in the driver's point of view, I know, it's incredible. Looking at this, you've got all of your light controls over here. You've got your cruise control, and then you come around and you've got your incredible dash to your wiper controls all the way down your control center, down into your shifter, and to your cigarette lighter. It is absolutely amazing, and I can't think of any other way that I would want it to be. Now that I've shown you all around my Cadillac Allante, it's time for me to drive it, and I'm not looking forward to it. If you notice that I'm not wearing a seatbelt, please don't get angry with me. It's covered in nastiness and wet, just grossness. And I know it's against the law, but I'm going to drive very safely and responsibly. Now, when you give it to Beans, it kind of goes a it wants to go. It wants to advance, but it's struggling right now, and so I'm probably gonna have to voice over what's exactly wrong with this, because it's mechanic jargon that I don't really understand right now.
Well, first thing I noticed was the radiator was cracked, and just from working on these things years ago, that was the first symptom of high pressure in them.
Okay.
And it's got a crack down the side of it, so I pulled it in and ran it and did a pressure test. And then there's a test we can do that picks up carbon, not carbon monoxide, but carbon dioxide in your cooling system.
Okay.
So your cooling system shouldn't have any gas in it at all, and when it goes past the cylinder head gasket, when the piston's coming up, that gas goes into the cooling system and then it changes color. So there, and that's what they call a wet sleeve motor. So there is no, it's not like a normal motor where you just pull the cylinder heads off, put a new gasket on, and put it back together. It's got your cylinders, instead of being part of the engine, actually pop out.
Okay.
And your head bolts are about this long. They go down into the main bores of the crank, and it's been a year since I've seen one, but what happens is the threads get stripped out.
Okay.
So at that point, you're just done.
Yeah. Okay. So we shift into second, and then it doesn't shift into third. Even if I drop the shifter down into third, it still stays in second. So when I bought the car, it wasn't like that. It shifted through all the gears just fine. And I checked the transmission fluid. That's about the extent of my knowledge. And I tried it, and it's fine. So I don't really know what 100% the issue is that I'm having. But it's a Cadillac. It's bound to have some transmission problems. So there's that. It's a red line at 70, which is kind of scary, so I don't really go that fast. In addition, it's very common on these Cadillac Allantes for the ABS to be totally out of whack. And so, no surprise, the ABS is completely out of whack on this one too. While I'm braking, the brake light turns on and it engages the ABS as I'm braking every single time. So the pedal down there goes and it kind of hits my foot because it's doing weird things down there. So you got brake issues, you got transmission issues, you have, everything is wrong with it. Aside from that, in addition, you have no radio, you have no heat, no air conditioning. You've got the air coming in right behind you. So it's really not really pleasant to drive, and you're not going to be going very fast in this, and you're not going to be going very far in this because of the cracked radiator that is just causing a mess. It's got cruise control, and the cruise works. A lot of stuff works on it, and it sounds good, it feels good in that first two gears, but the fact that it needs a new top, it might need a new transmission, it might need a new engine, it might need all new brakes, it might, have issues with ABS. I just don't think that it's smart financially for me to invest this into a car when I think that when it's all said and done, I'm not going to be able to get out what I put into it. And so I am listing it for sale. I'm going to take pictures of it. So probably by the time that anyone actually watches this video, it'll be gone. I won't have it, hopefully. I'm ready to give it up. It's got a full tank of premium fuel, so whoever gets it will have a nice tank. And there's that turn signal. I'm going to turn around with the person's driveway. I hope they don't kill me. Who knows? Maybe this video will be 3 months old and I still will have this mess of a car that I would like to pawn off to somebody else. I'm ready to move on. I have my car, which I will gladly do a video on, that I just adore with all of my being. But that's put away for the winter, so now I've got to find myself some sort of a beater that can make it through the Ohio winters, which are killer especially with salt, because we got ice here pretty bad. Nice. Oh yeah. The temperature's set to 90 degrees and it's blowing cold. So whoever ends up with this next is gonna have to have patience and money. That's all I got. Okay, so it's 4 months later, and I'm finally getting around to actually making the video. And the Allante did sell after I had it listed for sale for about 2 weeks. A gentleman reached out to me from Boston, telling me he'd give me $1,000 for it, and he would arrange shipping. So I took all the proper precautions to make sure it wasn't a scam. And a few days later, I had a semi at my house loading up the Allante. The semi driver, of course, didn't know the windows didn't roll back up, and so he rolled down the window all the way in the pouring rain, and it didn't roll back up. So we put a tarp over it. I told the owner, and away it went. I got a text message from him about a week later talking about how unsatisfied he was with the car, and I never heard from him again. But, I mean, what did he expect? It's a $1,000 Cadillac Allante. Thanks for watching.